I have seen lives transformed, whether one, whether two, whether many, in the communities.
In the rural heartland of Arikia village, Nasarawa State, survival is not a choice, but a daily negotiation. For thousands of women, the price of cooking a meal is the life of a tree. With no reliable energy and no alternatives, the shea tree became a fuel for fire. In this story, climate change doesn't come in storms, but in the rising smoke of daily life, in the aching backs of women walking miles for firewood. For generations, poverty and energy scarcity forced these women to choose between cooking today and conserving tomorrow.
When I got to Arikia, I found that just from the beginning of the road as we're coming in, there were lots of cut down trees because there used to be trees on the trail as you're coming in. So there were a lot of cut down trees, and what motivated me to put them in the project and to choose this community for that project was because of the felling of the trees.
Da sun zo sun muna kai sun zo ma ya fi so biyar ko so goma masu suna nuna mana training amma kamin su zo ma dama mu muna dan yi abin mu muna yi namu mun je man ka kwaran ka dai daga daji in mun zo da mu zo mu gyara shi mu share shi sarai sai mu wanke kwaran ka din in mun wanke kwaran ka din tukun sai mu zuba tukunya.
Before even our GC people to came here, we are using firewood. So if not before that time, before they come, if you come here, you go see they gather firewood, plenty. You know now we are into rainy season. They cannot go to bush during rainy season, so they have to put the firewood reserve. And now you can see it by yourself now, nothing like firewood now.
Sometimes because there is no alternative to cooking, but what they know is they use firewood, so they cut down the trees to use for firewood.
At the center of this story stands a tree that's easy to overlook but impossible to replace. The shea tree, which is not just a cultural staple but a global economic powerhouse anchoring a $3.2 billion industry. From high-end cosmetics in Paris to food production in Tokyo, shea butter travels far, but its roots are here in the simple, quiet community of Arikia. But what happens when these women begin to see the shea tree not as fuel for today, but as an investment in tomorrow?
The shea trees is so iconic, so important, in such that, okay, they get the shea from the shea tree, and we also now found out that the shea tree is so good for so many other things, for charcoal, and I think even for building. So there is so much demand on it that now puts so much pressure on the tree.
So those were the thoughts that I had, and I thought, okay, since I'm into shea, why not impact the women where we source these raw materials?
Some still feel cooking with wood tastes better, you know. So in spite of all the campaign and all, like my mother-in-law, for instance, she would prefer to use firewood and keep the LPG for special occasions.
They told me something. They said the taste of the tree when used to cook gives a different taste to the meal.
Conserving the shea tree means breaking the firewood cycle. That's why through the GEF Small Grants Program, a revolution is underway. For many women, switching from firewood to gas isn't just a lifestyle change, but a revolution in health, in time, and in freedom. Providing a refill center in the village is bringing clean energy within reach and giving trees a second chance to grow.
Bringing in the LPG bottles has been of great impact for them because it will now reduce that carbon footprint. It will remove smoke in the eye when using firewood because you need to blow it.
I think they train more than 200. I'm among the trainers.
So at the beginning of the project, we projected that we'll have 65% reduction of tree felling of the shea trees. But by the end of the project, after recounting the trees, we found out that we have a reduction up to 95% in cutting down of the shea trees.
And you know, when you're addressing environmental issues, you also think of the livelihood of the people. You can't tell them to stop cutting trees without providing them with alternatives. So one of the things we first of all did was to actually provide them with alternatives to firewood, which will reduce the pressure on the cutting down of trees.
We have regeneration of trees going on, and so it reduced carbon footprint because there's no more felling of trees. Because after when we came into the village, he proclaimed the law that for each tree you cut, is either you give a goat or you pay a fine of 50,000.
The chief is very, very strict on it. He has given a sound warning. He has even given a trouble warning to all the rulers. They are under Arkia ward that nobody should cut down the shea butter tree because it's an economic tree.
The lives of these women are being impacted positively. That gladdens my heart. It's one of the things I still remain very committed to this work. When you go to the villages, you go to the communities, and you see lives being transformed just for the little effort that we put in to enhance them, build their capacity, or empower them.
This isn't just about shea, it's about systems. A tree spared becomes shea butter becomes income. Income funds gas, and this gas saves the trees. That's the power of secular development. In a region once stuck in cycles of scarcity, women have now begun writing a new story, one that's clean, secular, and liberating.